From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Tonight, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the NCDC, confirms 18 new cases of coronavirus, with 11 of the cases in Lagos, 4 in the FCT Abuja, 2 each in Edo and Kaduna states, bringing the total number of cases to 232. 10-year-old girl and 4 others discharged from Lagos Isolation Center as state government confirms second COVID-19 death in the state in a 36-year-old man. COVID-19 lockdown stops Christians from attending Palm Sunday service as Archbishop Kegama seeks judicious use of funds raised for COVID-19 treatment. And Queen Elizabeth makes rare broadcast on COVID-19, gives assurance that better days will return for everyone to be friends again in these trying times. Plus sports news. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control today confirmed 18 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. And of the new cases, 11 are in Lagos, 4 in the FCT Abuja, 2 in Edo and Kaduna states. It now brings the total number of cases recorded in the country to 232. The NCDC also confirmed that 33 patients have been treated and discharged, bringing the total number of deaths to 5. A breakdown of the cases in each of the states shows that Lagos now has 120 cases, the FCT 47, Osun with 20, Oyo and Edo have 9 cases each, Bauchi has 6 cases, Akwa Ibom and Kaduna states 5 each, 4 in Ogun State, while Ekiti and Enugu have 2 cases each. Ondo, Rivers and Benue states have recorded 1 case each. A 10-year-old girl and 4 other COVID-19 patients have been discharged from the Lagos Isolation Center in Yaba, bringing the total number of persons discharged from the facility to 29. But it's not all good news, as the state government also confirmed it recorded its second COVID-19 death, which is a 36-year-old man who died in a private facility. The state government said in a statement that although there is a strong indication that it is winning the battle against the disease, it still needs to remain steadfast and aggressive to curtail the spread. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu adds that the results of tests conducted on the recovered patients is confirmation that they pose no threat to the community. He is, however, advising Lagosians against stigmatizing the discharged patients, while asking everyone to support them to get over the experience as soon as possible. The governor's statement reads in part, "In order to contain the spread of the disease, I strongly advise you to continue observing social distancing. Let us remain indoors and shun the temptation to breach the presidential restriction that has been placed in our state so that the gains recorded so far are not eroded." He adds that the Lagos state government will continue to do the needful in terms of responding to emergencies in an effort to ensure the health and well-being of residents. There is good news from Osun State, as the index case of the COVID-19 pandemic in the state has been discharged. The state government confirmed he recovered from the disease, hence he is going home. Not just that, 10 returnees out of the 127 Côte d'Ivoire citizens have been released from Côte d'Ivoire, have been released, having tested negative for the coronavirus. The state governor, Boyega Oyetola, during a press briefing, said only 17 of the 127 persons tested positive. He said the isolation is part of precautionary measures to prevent spread of the infectious disease. With the stories of recovery trickling in, the NCDC says it has activated a level 3 biosafety laboratory for COVID-19 testing in Lagos. This brings the number of COVID-19 testing laboratories in the country to 9, with Lagos now having 3. The NCDC says it is working to set up more laboratories in Maiduguri, in Kano, in Sokoto, Port Harcourt, Jos and Kaduna states. The NCDC Director General is also assuring Nigerians that the center will conduct tests for COVID-19 across the country as quickly as possible without compromising on standards. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, it is Palm Sunday, when Christians all over the world commemorate the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem in the week leading up to the crucifixion. The lockdown affected Christian faithful, but the Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, Ignatius Kagama, wants government to ensure the donations received to combat COVID-19 and its impact on citizens are not diverted. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa reports that other churches in the nation's capital also comply with the sit-at-home order, delivering their Palm Sunday messages online.
It is Palm Sunday, and for the first time in a very long time, churches, which otherwise would have been full of activities, are empty. But that hasn't stopped the gospel in any way, as Christians attend Palm Sunday service online.
We do thank Him for answered prayers all through the week and all manner of self-mutilations and so forth.
At Our Lady Queen of Nigeria Catholic Church, empty pews, as Bishop Ignatius Kaigama holds his first Palm Sunday service as Archbishop of Abuja. In his televised message, he reels out the plan of the church for those in need, urging the Catholic faithful to be kind to one another as Lent enters its last week and demanding the government plays its part.
Those entrusted with the responsibility to remedy this situation must make judicious use of the funds donated by generous people or provided by the government, and see to the adequate provision of medical equipment to hospitals and the safety and effectiveness of health workers.
The way the tradition goes, these palm fronds are to hang in the houses of the Catholic faithful till Ash Wednesday next year, when they will be burnt and used as ashes for Ash Wednesday celebrations. Today is not just the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem, but it marks the beginning of Holy Week in the Catholic Church. It's usually a massive celebration with processions around the compound or in the streets of the nation's capital. But none of that can happen today. Empty pews signifying the impact that COVID-19 has had on all of us. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, celebrations were also muted in other parts of the country by the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant restriction on movements as well as religious social gatherings. Our correspondent Dari Dewey reports on how the day was marked in Lagos and in Edo State.
It's Palm Sunday. The streets are empty and so are the churches. It's a day celebrated outdoors, which would have seen many clutching olive tree branches or palm fronds. But this special day in the Christian calendar cannot hold physically this year, especially where the lockdown order is in effect. Most churches have now gone digital, as it appears to be a major means of getting the message across to the congregation.
Where you are, in your various homes, I want you to bow your heads.
Father Uchena, a Catholic priest in Lagos, says he's never seen the church like this before, especially on Palm Sunday.
The electronic mass that he said cannot be the same, with the actual mass they participate, actively on. They are not happy that masses are not said, especially on a day like this, and particularly that today is the beginning of the Holy Week. This is the first of its kind for so many people who have not experienced a thing like this. So it looks strange to them. You speak to them, they can't. It's so strange that they don't have mass, and then the Holy Week is coming, and they are not going to be part of it. But to be able to stay safe, because we need to be alive.
As alien as the idea of social distancing may seem to many worshippers, in Lagos, most churches are locked and no one allowed to gather as usual. Those still opened, though not for usual worship, have a controlled number of people and appears to be taking precautions. Away from Lagos, this year's Palm Sunday celebration is also affected by COVID-19 in Edo State, where its government has banned all public gatherings of 20 persons or more. We monitored compliance at churches in Benin City, the state capital. Most of the places visited locked their gates, with some members seen hanging around the church premises. As many churches remain locked in compliance to the social distancing rule by various governments, the celebration of this year's Palm Sunday may have taken a different form, with the church devising other means of keeping in touch with the congregation. Dare Ido, Channels Television News.
Staying with the restriction on movement across some states, Nollywood actress Funke Akindele may have to spend some time in police custody as she's been arrested for hosting a party in contravention of the lockdown order in Lagos State. The Lagos State Public Relations Officer, Bala Elkanah, says the actress has been taken to the State Criminal Investigation Department in Panti, Yaba. The statement adds that while another known musician, Naira Marley, has been asked to report himself to the police are already on the lookout for others who attended the party. A video had surfaced on the internet showing the Nollywood actress, her husband, and some other celebrities partying at her home to celebrate her husband's birthday. Several Nigerians reacted to the video and asked the police to act on it. She later apologized over the incident, saying most of those who attended the party were colleagues who were living temporarily within the estate and could not return to their home states because of the lockdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In a different development, the Delta State government today announced the arrest of 2 soldiers who appeared in an online video where they threatened to rape women in Delta State. The threats are in reaction to the viral reports on how soldiers reportedly killed a 28-year-old man in Warri while they were enforcing the stay-at-home order by the Delta State government to check the spread of the novel coronavirus. The police say the slain man, identified as Joseph Pesu, was killed by the soldiers.
It's a very unfortunate incident, which nobody ever prays for, and we pray that God will rest his soul. Of course, after that, there were a lot of videos that were flying around on social media. A good number of them were either very old videos, and some of them were things that did not even occur in Nigeria. One of them was the army in Congo, as you can see. But that aside, the necessary steps were taken. The matter was reported to the nearest police station. Statements were taken, and we understand from the Nigerian Army authorities that the soldier involved was handed over to them, and an investigation team has been set up. Of course, shortly afterwards, there was that other video where some people we believe to be soldiers were making threats in very uncouth and unbecoming language. And so just very late last night, we got a report that they had been identified, apprehended, and investigations ongoing. Essentially, in Warri is very calm.
Meanwhile, a truck conveying passengers along the Asaba-Onitsha Expressway has been apprehended by a joint team of the Delta State Police Command led by the Commissioner of Police. A truck was apprehended during an inspection by the team to monitor the level of compliance to the lockdown directive in the state capital and its environs. In part 2 after the break, we'll examine the raging controversy linking the 5th generation wireless technology, also known as 5G, to the spread of COVID-19. We'll be joined on the news at 10 by Honourable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Pantami. Stay with us.